Welcome back, everybody, to this week's show. This is the PGA DFS Pick Show. I am your host this week, John McNutt, filling in for TK Nation, who is taking a long overdue vacation. But I will be providing all the picks here for FSI this week. My favorite plays, values, sleepers, a lot to talk about. Before I jump into the picks, make sure to check out my course and event preview that was posted on Sunday and take you through the stats I'm focusing on, what the course looks like, a little bit of information about some course history golfers, a few other good tidbits on there, so make sure to check that out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this week. I'm going to start with Bryson DeChambeau, but really before I hammer down on him, one thing to note that wasn't in the course breakdown, that looks like weather is going to be very wet, could be raining multiple days. I believe they'll get the tournament in come Sunday. Certainly we could see some delays, some weather wave stacking advantages. So certainly check us out in the Discord. That's where we go over the weather on Wednesday and discuss if we'll be doing any wave stacking, and then hammer down things like round one, round two showdown as well. And then through the weekend, if we see any advantages, we will make sure everyone in our Discord chat knows about them. And so that's the best place to get all of the up-to-date information. But let's jump into this week's DFS picks. Bryson DeChambeau, top of the leaderboard here, or top of the pricing on Draftkings. He is also top on the odds for Vegas for odds to win this week. He is the winner of the 2020 Rocket Mortgage. That was in July, a little bit later in the year. It was one of the first events after the pandemic stoppage. This was its usual time here in June. But Bryson DeChambeau, yeah, he did win in 2020. He is absolutely elite off the tee. I'm looking at last 36 rounds. He's number one in distance, number one ball striking, number one off the tee. He is top 5 birdie or better, also top 5 tee to green, and he is top 10 on par 5 scoring as well as greens and regulation. So some of the key stats I'm really focusing on this week. He rates out really well on comp courses as well as Donald Ross designs in general. His weakness is around the greens, although on this course, he should be able to just smash it down as far as he can and figure it out from there. The course is not that difficult. We're looking at a birdie fest, so I think Bryson is an absolute must-have in GPP this week. He should be in your player pool. He will be in a whole lot of my lineups. But really the form is fantastic for Bryson as well. He did make his last 10 cuts. There's only a couple guys on tour who've made whose cut streak is that long. I'll be talking about another one of them in a few moments. But during that his last 10 events, he was a winner at the Arnold Palmer. He also has 2 more top 10s, and then again, he won that 2020 Rocket Mortgage. He won by 3 strokes. He shot a 65 on Sunday. He gained 6.7 strokes off the tee and another 7.8 putting. So he just absolutely crushed it in July last year. I expect him to do similar things this week. I'll be playing a lot of Bryson. But if you want to be able to afford him this week, you definitely need to find some value. I found a couple of guys that I really like a bit lower down in the pricing. I'll start off with CHARLEY Hoffman at 8,800. He is 35-1 odds to win. I like that a lot. I think he's certainly on my short list for golfers for one and done. But really big thing here with CHARLEY Hoffman, it's all about the form. Yeah, he wasn't awesome last week, but he has made his last 10 cuts in a row as well. 6 of those were top 20 finishes. Really the tee to green is what's been kind of messing him up. At least last week, the putter really caught fire. That's not really his game. He should get back to that tee to green. He did miss the cut in 2019 at this course. I'm not too worried about that though, because he is in such great form right now. His last 36 rounds, he's number 1 on approach, number 1 in DK points in this field. He's also top 5 on par 5 scoring. He's number 1 birdies or better, and number 2 opportunities gained. So I think CHARLEY Hoffman gives you a great opportunity, and especially at this price, I wouldn't have been surprised to see him come in closer to like that 94, 9,500 this week. The field isn't awesome up at the top, but CHARLEY, I think, is a decent price there. Much, much better in the pricing, though, Doug Ghim. He is down at 7,000 even on Draftkings, 85-1 odds to win. If you're just looking at those Vegas odds, also at 85-1 odds to win, we're talking Adam Hadwin, Kramer Hickok, who was runner-up this past week at the Travelers, Maverick McNeely, Phil Mickelson, Snedeker, all those guys are at the same odds as Doug Ghim, but those guys are all priced 7,500 to 8,000. I think you're getting a fantastic DraftKings price on Doug Ghim. His last 10 events, he has only made 6 out of 10 cuts. I would be a little bit worried playing him in cash this week. He was 54th last week. Not awesome, but I'm looking at some of the comp courses for this week's event. One of those is the RSM. He was 18th at that. He also finished 14th at the Charles Schwab not too many weeks ago. So the form's okay. He did miss the cut at this event in 2020, but he lost strokes off the tee as well as putting, and he's actually pretty good on this putting surface, and he tends to gain off the tee. So I think he can right that, get back a little bit more to his average and what he's typically good at. His last 36 rounds, he's 6th on approach, 8th tee to green, 5th greens in regulation, and he is also 7th in good drives gained. I think he is an excellent tournament option. He could end up being actually quite popular. We'll see as ownership shakes out. That is another thing we'll discuss in our Discord come Wednesday, what the ownership projections look like. But I am all over Doug Ghim early this week. Going into some really even deeper dive here, Roger Sloan pops for me. He comes in top 25 in my overall model right now. He is only 6,500 on DraftKings, 160 to 1 odds to win. He isn't going to wow you in very many stat categories, but as an overall, I really do like him this week, especially down in this range. You're not going to find a ton of golfers that you love. Maybe a couple of the young guys, Davis Thompson. I might take a shot here on a couple others, maybe Bramlett down in this range, but Roger Sloan stuck out to me the most. His last 10 events, he has also missed 4 cuts, just like Doug Ghim, but he's got 3 top 25s over that same span. He did miss the cut here in 2020, but he was 21st place the year before that. I think that's a little bit better comp to what we're going to see this week. The field wasn't nearly as strong in 2019 as it was in 2020. And then comp courses for him, he was 23rd at the RSM, 34th at the Byron Nelson. I like both of those. He tends to be really good when it comes to inside 125 yards. We're going to see a lot more approach shots coming from 100 to 125, even 75 to 100, a lot more than on normal, or I should say on tour average. And he excels in that area. His last 36 rounds, he comes in 24th in ball striking, 11th greens in regulation, and 26th tee to green. So certainly the stats are fine there for him, especially at this price. I will be taking a shot on quite a few lines here with Roger Sloan this week. Time to get into our one and done picks. I was cruising along last week with Bubba Watson until he completely fell apart on the back half on Sunday afternoon. I would have moved up to just outside the top 100 in the standings. I think I had peaked. It was like 124 is where I would have finished had he won. A little bit disappointing. He ended up losing about $1.1 million in the last two and a half hours of the Travelers. So that's okay. I'll bounce back this week, still in the money. I like where I'm at. I've got a lot of good golfers left. I still have Bryson DeChambeau. I will be playing him in a couple weeks. Still have Colin Morikawa. A lot of guys I like, but Hideki, I've been hanging on to him all year. He has played well at this course. He was tied for 21st, tied for 13 in his 2 attempts. The form is obviously there. He just won the Masters. I'm going to play quite a bit of Hideki Matsuyama in DraftKings. I think he'll be super popular there. One of the more popular picks, him, Bryson, and probably like Jason Kokrak up near the top of the pricing. I think those guys will be very heavily owned. I will take him in one and done. Lots of him in DFS as well. Hopefully he can take me up the leaderboard a bit more. I don't think I'm going to win this Fantasy National Golf Club, the Fantasy Championships, but I think I have a good chance to get inside that top 150 or so with a couple more good weeks. So let's keep it rolling. Hopefully we'll have TK back next week. Hopefully he had a great vacation, but super excited for him to be able to take some time off. I will be posting everything that I can in the Discord so that all our subscribers can find everything from my picks last minute to guys I've moved on later in the week, weather, all of that good stuff. You can find that Discord link on our Twitter page at FSI_DFS. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.